Hello, this is Lou, and you are in Lou Optics right now. Today is going to be kind of a short stream because I have a few other things to do, but I'm hoping to free myself later on to do some more live streaming later. Today, I want to touch a little bit about how to apply to optometry school and what that actually looks like. I believe that. Um, this is the best profession in the world. I'm gonna keep saying it forever. I think anybody that's a lawyer thinks being an attorney is the best thing. If you're a basketball player, you probably think basketball is the best thing in the whole world. For me, it's definitely the optical industry, just in general. Period, is the best industry. I dreamed about it ever since I was literally 7 years old, and found that it was even uh, more prosperous and more beneficial than anything that I had done before. And believe me, we'll get into all the different professions I've been in. I'm probably been in at least a dozen different professions, just because in life, hey, you have to pay the bills, and sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do in order to be able to do what you want to do later. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was the process of actually getting into optometry school. Um, so this just assuming that you rocked out in high school, you rocked out undergrad, you got your grades in, you got you passed all your classes and you did what you're supposed to do. Now what's the next step? The next step would be to take the OAT exam. That is short for optometry admissions test. The optometry admissions test, um, very similar to the entrance exam to get into medical school. I promise you, it's the toughest test in the world. If you think the ACT or the SAT is tough, I say that the OAT is probably uh, 500 times harder than the SAT on steroids. That's how I explain it. And it's a very, 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 very tough test. So we want to definitely talk about it and talk about what is entailed with that. The O test is a very challenging test. It's going to challenge every piece of you. You have a biology section, you have a general chemistry section, you have an organic chemistry section. I believe you have a writing and English section, at least reading section of sort. I believe there's a physics section too. But it all sections are challenging and it's very hard. I took the test 3 times, and and it was very challenging. And I tell you, you'll be miserable trying to study for it. But I promise you that anything worth having is worth fighting for, and is very beneficial in the end. So I that's part of it is actually doing that. You have to study for it too. There's Kaplan books. There's all kind of things out there. I'm not a paid endorser of anything yet. And of course, hey, I'm out here, so if you need somebody to mark your product, I am your guy. We'll work that out. I'm a free agent, but with anything, you have to study and you have to learn all this stuff through and through because it's a time test, and the test is very, very long. So we're talking about, I want to say it was at least 5.5 hours long for this test. So it's it takes it feel like it takes all day. You have like one legitimate break, and that's it. So you have to recognize that it's gonna be all day long. If You know if you're a morning person or an afternoon person, so you choose the appropriate time. Have a have some type of meal nearby for that break. It's a short break, so you have to eat fast, and you want to have a good amount of sleep before you take it. And it's an important test because it will definitely help determine whether or not schools see you as a competitive applicant. It's it's going to be tough for you if you don't do it. So we have to kind of let you know that it's rough, and you have to. Um, this is just one of the components of getting into optometry school, and then after that, you have to take the test. Not the test, but the you have to apply. Excuse me. You have to apply through this system, this centralized system called the Optomcast system. And what that does is that it allows you to apply to one or multiple amounts of schools at the same time. I believe there's 22 optometry schools, and all those schools participate with it. So you apply through one centralized application, and then it sends it out to all the schools. So then that enables you to do it all at once. It is costly. I believe that it's one flat fee for I believe 3 schools, and then after that, you have to pay for each additional school, and then it's cost even more if you add those schools after you submitted it the first time. So you really have to be careful when you do it. Um, it's very exhausting. You have to you have to have your grades, senior grades in of everything you've ever done. So we're talking about high school, we're talking about any colleges, community colleges, any trade schools, anything. You have to send all that in, and then they come up with a composite grade point average based on all those things you've ever done. So maybe one thing of caution is don't take anything for granted. Everything counts. So you want to make sure that all um, those things count toward what you're trying to do. So once you've sent in all your grades, um, in the meantime, you're actually creating like this statement. I believe it's 2,000 word statement on why, um, and you give your best pitch why you should. I believe it's two. It could be 4,000, but it's 2,000 words, I believe. And um, and if it's not, somebody correct me or something like that. But all I know is that I made a big mistake. I decided to make this giant document. Then I luckily had some mentors help me truncate it down so I can put in an application properly. And what you want to do is um, to keep up with the times, ask others that have gotten to optometry school what they did. Um, Ask few people so that you can be able to have a template of how to do it. So ask around, ask the internet, look at examples so that you can have the best information, and you'll be able to have an impressive um, application when schools look at it. You also want to pay attention to resume. Your resume is important in this whole thing because they're going to look at that. They want to know where you worked. They want to know what things you've done. They want to know if you've done any mission or nonprofit work. Everybody is going to be competitive. So even though you may have stellar grades, you might have straight A's throughout school. There's people that have done all kind of mission trips. They do job shadowing. They also work. There'll be a number of classmates you'll be sitting right next to that has master's degrees or dual degrees or all kind of certificates and high level amount of um, you know professional experience. Some will be actual teachers or professors. So you're gonna walk into pretty much a group of geniuses when you come in. So don't underestimate the person sitting right in front of you, because this person may be a very, very accomplished person. There's people that desire to be in optometry school that are already engineers and scientists and teachers and lawyers and politicians and such. So you're going to have a lot of competitive candidates, and you have to find a way to stand out in those things. So if you have a chance, go shadow someone, shadow an optometrist. I, I shadowed an optometrist. I worked for an optometrist. I shadowed ophthalmologists and watched actual corneal surgeries and LASIK surgeries and things of that nature. I did all those things. Also, working as a college teacher. So I luckily was able to impress them enough and say, hey, that's a pretty good resume. And with my communication skills, and uh, I was able to get in. So I can't really point to exactly what it was, but I did everything I could in order to get in and make sure that any missteps was eliminated. If you have any grades that's questionable, go and retake it, get more knowledge, and then be able to explain. You have to be able to explain why you did it. So it's important to let people know that you're an honest human being. That if you have to retake a class to explain what happened, be able to demonstrate that you learn from your mistakes so that you can go forward. I want to this whole channel was pretty much to put a spotlight. Well, part of it is to put a spotlight on these things that black and brown people don't know, that women don't know. There's some women out here that don't know that this opportunity, the jobs out here in the market is available to them. And so if it's available to you, I want to let you know it's available to you so that you might say, hey, maybe this might be the right thing for me. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is Lou from Lou Optics. I'm not on here long because I have a few other things I have to do. But for the short time I'm doing it here, I'm just kind of briefly um, talking about what how to get into optometry school, but applying for it. So it's called OptomCAS. So it's OPTOMCAS. If you look up on your favorite browser, and then you want to also at the same time look at this website o.org, and what that will do is it will kind of outline all the things you need to be successful on optometry admissions test, at least the things you need to know, because you need to know those things. Is a very time test, and when you're there is there's no way to cheat if you wanted to. They usually choose some type of prometric center, and you're gonna be watched the whole time, and you're gonna be in front of a computer, and you're not gonna be able to look to your right or to your left for any help. So make sure you're honest. My mom used to say, keep your nose clean, and be able to have the confidence to go in, pass the exam, and keep your head up high. And that's what you want to do. But I do have a word of caution when you start preparing for the OAT exam, whether you choose Kaplan or whether you choose OAT Destroyer or anything like that. You're going to have what is called practice tests. And these practice exams they'll try to make it as close to the simulated exam as possible. And one of the problems you'll have going into this, which I'm not saying anything against these companies, it's nothing they're doing wrong. It's just that when you do the practice test, do not, um, you know, do not overestimate what's happening. If you take those practice tests and you get 100% of those right, uh, that's great. But keep taking more tests. Excuse me. Try to be diverse in the testing that you're taking. Um, be Try to challenge yourself as much as possible, because I know for a fact I would get to the point where I could get the right answer, but they're limited in the way that they generate those particular answers. So you could overestimate and say, "Oh, I got a 400," which is literally perfect in the old exam, and you mess around and get a 220, and 220 is pretty much the score you get just to write your name on. And so you want to fully learn these concepts and not worry too much about picking out the right answer. It's more about knowing how to do the problem, so that when you work out the problem or you think the problem, there's only one answer that can pop up on that screen. And that's not based on you predicting what they'll ask you, but it's more or less um, having a full knowledge of what you're seeing, whether it's general chemistry and you're working out a particular you know reaction, and it's a simple reaction, but it might be in a different type of measurement that you're used to. If you know the concepts, it makes it a lot easier for you to get some points, so you don't leave any points on the table because you don't know the concept. And if you think concept over trying to get a score, you'll be a lot more successful in your old exam. And it's not gonna be easy. That's why I say you don't underestimate anything. And God bless you if you're super, super genius smart. But even if you are, make sure you're good on the concepts so that you don't disappoint yourself. Because even if you're genius level, you can still disappoint yourself if you um, end up underperforming on the actual exam. And the actual exam will always be harder, randomized. I took it more than once. You're not going to see the same questions on there. So we what we're trying to do here, like I said, is Lou from Lou Optics. We're just trying to give you information. This is not um, advice. This is actual real information. Um, so don't write down saying, "Oh, he told me to do this." It's just information. Don't take it as gospel. Please do research completely for yourself. So in later videos, we will dive into um, what the websites look like, and I would encourage everybody to kind of look it over to see what you see in those requirements and everything. You're gonna if you are weak in any of those areas, um, you know, I would even suggest to you that before even applying for optometry school, if there was like a class or two that you might not have taken, you want to take it. You want to take it. There's no substitute to actually taking a full course um, taking labs and actually passing midterms and labs. There's no substitute whatsoever. You want to make sure that you you pass those things and you're very confident in what you got to do. All right. Well, it's very short. I'm going to have a part two to this because I know that I'm crunched for time. So I will do this probably later on tonight, and uh, hope to share my screen with you guys so we can kind of dive into this. All right. I'm Blue Optics, and I am out.